Welcome back to another VC reaction video. I'm the VC, Matt C. Smith. Behind the camera is Rufus Tangen, and together we are LUNICORN on YouTube. In this series, I like to react to startup pitches, famous sale pitches, and ideas from the startup industry and give you what a real VC would think about their pitch, presentation, or business. Rufus, what am I reacting to today?
Today we have a video from Mark Cuban, and he's explaining, is it easy to start a business today?
Oh, that's a good question. I get that question all the time, and I can almost answer that before you. I wonder if he's going to agree with me. But I've got a fun fact about, actually, I'll save it to the end. I met Mark Cuban at South by Southwest. I'll tell you that story at the end of this. All right, let's get into it.
Starting a tech business meant, and probably that's past being more than 7 years ago, starting a tech business meant buying servers.
But this is so true. Like, a lot of people think that starting a business today costs a lot of money. And obviously it depends what type of business you create. It can cost a lot of money, of course. But the reality of things is that if you want to create a business today, it has never been cheaper, will take less time, and never be easier than it is today than it was any other time in history. Literally, like Mark Cuban just said, 7 years ago, you have to buy servers, you have to pay really high salaries to a lot of really smart technical developers. But to be honest, the cost has been democratized. You can go and create a website today on Squarespace or WordPress and pay $20 a month because startups have been created to help startups be created.
It meant buying equipment. It meant buying a lot of software. Making a capital investment to create a company.
That's the thing, making a capital investment to create a company. You don't need to go and make huge amounts of capital investments to create a company today. Obviously, again, caveat, the nature of the business depends on what you want to do. But if you want to create a lifestyle business or a business that you sell something online or you sell a service, you can simply sell a service online through a simple, low-cost website with an easy payment gateway sorted.
Now you can start any tech business with a phone, a laptop, a broadband connection, and access to any of the many online hosting companies that can host all this for you. You don't have to buy all the equipment and the servers. And so really, particularly in the tech business, the biggest limitation you have is your creativity, your brain power, and your effort.
So I want to make a point about that. You know, he said like in the tech industry. Now, a lot of people think that when you talk about the tech industry, it means that you have to create a company that is a software. Like you need to create a software. No, that's not what we mean. The definition of a startup has only been around since the 1975 or so, when it was used to describe these startup technology businesses. Now, back in the day, we're talking about the Microsofts and the Apples in the early thousands, around the .com. Those were startups, right? They were technology companies creating softwares and technologies. Today, the definition of startup is basically that you're using a technology in your business processes or your service delivery, right? Meaning that you as an individual can use Squarespace and Stripe or PayPal, and you're technically you're a startup. You're creating a company using technologies to facilitate a process or sell a service. It's quite simple. The only thing that limits you to creating your own company is creativity, brain power, and effort. That is so true, because with all the technologies that exist today, anything that you could think up could probably realistically be created relatively low cost, because you can plug in different softwares, get different people to build things for you.
You know, and the one thing in business you always can control is your effort. So I think, you know, across the board, no matter what type of business.
But the one thing that anyone can control, whether you're creative or not, you have the brain power or not, is your effort. Now, I can promise you this and I can guarantee you this. Every single successful person is successful because they either outlasted the competition, outsmarted the competition, or they got there first, right? And it's any one of those. And if you get all three, win-win. But if you get one of those right and you're consistent over time, you will be successful. Effort is something, perseverance is the one commonality and trait that I find with any entrepreneur who is successful. They just didn't stop. I've been doing these video things for years and I haven't made it yet, but I haven't stopped. I have seen my competitors come and go. When I started, I had two main competitors. I haven't seen a video from them in 2 years. I'm still going. Now, the market might not be ready for it, but it will be ready at some point. When it is, I'm ready for it because I've been going the longest. So don't get disheartened if you are still going. Don't be stupid and have blinders up and forget about everything around you and not recognize anything. But just remember that you build expertise over time. So even if you are the only player in the game, still going, still making the same thing, it will turn right if you continue to go and you continue to listen and learn to your users, listen to your customers, speak to them. Don't just make things that you want, make things that people want you to make.
You know, there's nothing that holds you back more than you. There's nothing that can stop you from starting a company, than you. Now, being successful is something different.
But that's so true, actually, Mark. That was a good, beautiful comment. Nothing can stop you but you. And that's so true. Self-doubt, not thinking that you have the skill set, not thinking that you have the network. Like, some of the most successful entrepreneurs I've met were born into poor backgrounds, poor countries, like no opportunity, uneducated, right? But they persevered. They said, you know what, yeah, I'm not gonna let that limit me. Of course, but I wanna say with a pinch of salt, of course you have self-doubt. It's human to have self-doubt. You fall into a path and fall into a track of life where you think that if I just keep going in this way, I will continue to grow and develop, right? And the opportunity cost of leaving that track and that path becomes greater the longer that you stay. But remember one thing, future entrepreneurs, future founders, there is no rush. The world is only going to become better. The world is only going to become cheaper to create a company. It's only going to become easier to create a company. So you don't have to rush right now. Build and foster a network. Build and foster an expertise. Work in an industry. If you want to create a company in a domain, work in that industry first, because if you want to raise money, if you want to do that kind of thing, investors invest in teams that are right for this, right? They invest in teams that have a domain expertise. They invest in a team that has a track record. And if you're a 21-year-old founder, trust me, you have zero track record, most likely. The only reason we get brainwashed by media about early stage entrepreneurs being successful is because that's what media want to report on. They want to report on the successful 21-year-old guy or girl doing something amazing because it's sexy, because it's inspiring. That's true, and it is. So be that person if you can be, but the reality of it is if you start a company at 31 or 41, you are a lot more likely to succeed. You are a lot more likely not to have huge issues if you fail. You are a lot more likely to attract investors. You are a lot more likely to be successful. It's as simple as that.
I think, again, it hasn't changed that you don't own a business you start. Your customers own the business you start. Your customers own you. And as long as you make those customers happy and as long as you keep them buying and you do it on a profitable basis, then anything is possible. And that formula hasn't changed and won't ever change. It's always a great time to start a business if you're prepared.
That's such a great point about your customers owning you that Mark says. And I want to reiterate that point. And what that actually means in the context of creating your own business is that you should always talk to your customers first. Understand what they need, understand what they want, and recycle that process. Make it part of your nature. Every couple of months you come back to that. Like, are we still building in the right way? Because like I said, perseverance over time is the recipe for success. Perseverance over time is a recipe for being consistently successful. But over time, you will also barrel down a specific path and maybe build something that's not necessarily what your customers want. So you need to constantly be aware. Don't have your blinders down, laser line focus, be aware. Be focused, be aware. Be focused, be aware. And the only way you do that is if you schedule this kind of reflective processes in your business. You can do this by building different products. So try to surround yourself with different people who are more reflective and are complements to you as an individual, because that's going to engineer your company, whatever you're trying to do, to be successful. As Mark says, it has never been easier to create a company than it is today. It has never been cheaper to create a company than it is today. And there's never been more support available for entrepreneurs, founders, just lifestyle business owners than it is today. There's never been more platforms to create your business on today. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. So what is stopping you? That's it for this episode of VC Reactions.
Wait. Your story.
My story, of course. All right, so South by Southwest, 2018, I think it was. I was at South by Southwest and I was sitting in the queue to get like a bottle of water or something like that. And this guy starts walking towards me. He's stocky, maybe my height, maybe a little bit higher, taller than me, I don't know. And I'm like, I recognize that guy. He was wearing sunglasses inside, which I thought was a bit strange, right? And I realized, it's Mark Cuban. He just literally walked past me in the main concourse that surrounds the main building of South by Southwest, where a lot of the stages are. He had no security with him. He was just walking super casually, wearing a t-shirt and jeans in trainers and sunglasses. And when he walked past me, and I was like, that was Mark Cuban. Literally just walked straight past me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's it from this episode. Thank you for watching. Hey, if you have some questions, more detail about what Mark said, about what I've said, let us know in the comments. Write to us, DM us on Instagram at @TheLunicorn. It's @_TheLunicorn. Hit me up at @MattCSmith_ and @RufusTangen. We'll be happy to answer those questions for you. Point you in the right direction, because I know it's so easy to say how easy it is to create a company, but where do I start? See you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.